Hello everyone, it is that time of year again to count down the best films of the year. Now, this year has been a very strange year, um, to say the least. When everything started going down earlier this year around March, I really didn't think I'd be able to do a best of the year list because I didn't think I'd see enough movies. But there have actually been some really great films this year. So let me start with a few disclaimers. Firstly, I say this every year, but this is my list. It's of course subjective. These aren't, despite the title being the best movies of 2020, these aren't necessarily the best, definitive best films of 2020. A lot of these are just films that struck a chord with me and I loved. Finally, I've seen some debate as to whether Hamilton should be on these lists. I personally haven't included it because it's more of a show than a film, although it is very well shot. But if it was on this list, then it would be very high because I love Hamilton. But I don't class it as a film, so it won't be on this list. So before I get started with my actual list, I have some honourable mentions. Movies that I loved, but they just didn't make it onto the list. So these movies are Tenet, The Lighthouse, 1917, Uncut Gems, The King of Staten Island, Bad Boys for Life, Parasite, On the Rocks, and Cloud. I loved all of those movies, but they just didn't make it onto the list. So now time to dig into the actual list. At number 10 is Uncle Frank. This film was written and directed by Alan Ball, and Alan Ball wrote American Beauty, which I believe won Best Picture, and I think it's a masterpiece. I love American Beauty. But despite that, I did not expect Uncle Frank to be as good as it was. One of the best things about this film is Paul Bettany's performance. He is so raw here, and the screenplay calls for that. This is a very grounded film, and the screenplay is so emotionally investing. And I found myself, for pretty much the entire movie, I was engaged with the story. I loved Uncle Frank. It's on Amazon Prime Video. I don't think a whole ton of people have seen it, but if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. At number 9 is Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I thought this movie was beautiful. Firstly, I'll mention the cinematography. Oh my god, this film looks amazing. Honestly, it's some of the best cinematography I've seen in a film in ages. Just the colour palette, it all looks incredible. And the central romance here is really investing. And what the director, I can't pronounce her name, Celine Sciamma, I know I just botched that. But what she does really well here is as well as the cast, they all present the emotions of the characters really well. You can completely understand why the characters feel the way they feel and what they are feeling. And because of that, I found Portrait of a Lady on Fire to be really emotionally investing. And number 8 is a movie that a lot of people are split on. And that's kind of why I love it. I'm Thinking of Ending Things, the latest film from Charlie Kaufman. I knew when I saw this film that people were going to be divided on it. It's a very weird film. It's so unique, but at the same time, it is so Charlie Kaufman. And that is what I love about it. The performances are great, but Academy do not snub Toni Collette this year like you did for Hereditary a couple of years ago. Because she is magnificent here. Look, I'm Thinking of Ending Things is not for everyone. People are going to hate this movie. It's so different. But that's why I love it. Number 7 is another Netflix film, The Trial of the Chicago 7. Aaron Sorkin once again proves himself to be a fantastic screenwriter. The screenplay is gripping. It had me from scene 1 and it never let me go. The performances in The Trial of the Chicago 7 are amazing. The Academy are going to have a field day with these performances, specifically Sacha Baron Cohen, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Eddie Redmayne, and Mark Rylance. They're all magnificent. And I've seen some people criticise the ending. I love the ending. I thought it was really beautiful. And I highly, highly recommend The Trial of the Chicago 7. And number 6 is the latest film from a director who's slowly becoming one of my favourite directors, The Invisible Man, written and directed by Lee Winnell. Lee Winnell's last film was Upgrade, and weirdly enough, when that came out in 2018, that was at number 6 on my best films of the year list. I love Upgrade, And I don't know if I love The Invisible Man as much as Upgrade, but The Invisible Man is amazing. Elizabeth Moss needs some Oscar consideration for her performance here. What I love about The Invisible Man is that it could have just been straight up horror. Just loads of jump scares, but Leigh Whannell doesn't do that. In fact, this isn't even really a horror movie. This is more of a psychological drama / thriller, but it gets so under your skin and it's so unnerving that it's scary. This film was genuinely scary. And for me to say that about a film, because I don't get scared in movies, for me to say that about a film, that is a huge compliment. At number 5 is Bad Education, starring Hugh Jackman and Alison Janney. This is one of the most intense films I've seen all year. This film is a drama, but the way Corey Finley directs it, I'd say it is as gripping as any action scene in a comic book movie. And also the writing is superb. This film doesn't necessarily have much of a narrative structure, but I didn't care because the performances were amazing, the direction and screenplay were excellent, and overall Bad Education was just meticulously crafted. I loved it. Number 4 is Jojo Rabbit. I love this movie. This is one of my most rewatched movies of the year. Taika Waititi is a genius because there's a lot of comedy in this film. It's hilarious, but in the third act, there's a lot of emotional scenes. This film never shies away from showing the horrors of war. But the way Taika Waititi balances the comedy and the drama is perfect. The tone never feels jarring. I think Jojo Rabbit is a really beautiful film. If you haven't seen Jojo Rabbit, please do. It's well worth your time. At number 3, this was my favourite film of the year for quite a portion of the year. A Beautiful Day in the Neighbourhood. Tom Hanks should have won Best Supporting Actor. I don't care. Brad Pitt was amazing in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but Tom Hanks as Fred Rogers here is amazing. This film is just so positive. I said it in my written review and I'll repeat it again here. This film could make someone with the coldest of hearts feel something inside. Marielle Heller directed the hell out of this movie. I really do think she deserved the Best Director nomination. Even though the category was stacked last year, but still she deserved one. A Beautiful Day in the Neighbourhood was wonderful. I loved it. At number 2, now this film isn't necessarily the best crafted movie of the year, but simply it spoke to me. It's probably my surprise movie of the year, Spontaneous. This movie just looks kind of fun, but disposable. However, I loved it. Now this film has a ridiculous plot. It's basically about kids' heads exploding. And yeah, that is ridiculous, but writer-director Brian Duffield understands that when kids see that happen to another person, that's going to impact them emotionally. And the film deals with that really well. And I'm really glad the film went to those places. And this film is R-rated as well. So these characters speak like teenagers. And so it's really, really entertaining. So here we are at number 1, my favourite movie of 2020. It's After We Collided. Absolute masterpiece. I'm kidding. My favourite film of the year. This was one of my most anticipated films of the year, and it did not let me down. Disney Pixar's Soul. I absolutely love this movie. It's the only film this year that I think is a masterpiece. The animation is incredible. Kids can love the gags and the colourful stuff in it, but the themes in this film are so mature. And I said it in my review, but the final 15 minutes are stunning. I loved Soul so much. I cannot wait to see it again. And it is my personal favourite film of the year. Guys, thank you so much for watching my videos this year, although I didn't do many. I say this at the end of every year, but I will try to do more videos this year. I do like to do videos, but sometimes I just get so caught up in college work and stuff like that. I just don't have time. But thank you for watching the videos I did do this year. This has been a very, very strange year. I hope in 2021 we can get some more movies. Guys, thank you for watching this video. Hope you guys stay safe. You guys are awesome. Blu-ray Billy, logging off.